Whether or not Brand will be found guilty in a court of law, the U.S. courts have proven to be incompetent over the past years, giving rich sex offenders freedoms to go to their work office during the day where they receive hookers, and sleep in jail at night and other atrocities. The UK justice system will likely not allow a live stream of the court hearings. If Brand is to be tried in a court of law there, this means that there will be no way for the public to view the process and draw their own conclusions and will have to trust fully in the process of UK law. When crimes of this nature happen, it is usually one person's word against the other, and it is very difficult to convict someone for these, even when it is recent. Due to that aspect, the fact that these things happened years ago makes it even more complicated. The farther you go back in time, the more prevalent rape culture was. Add to that the entire work environment and all of his employers, as well as his social environment, were clearly enabling of any possible atrocious behavior. That leads to one fact, that even if the accounts of the females that have come forward were false, the environment and culture was made ripe for any of the accusations to easily take place. Then we have another confusing aspect to this scandal. Russell Brand has spent many years speaking on his recovery from sex and drug addiction. Also, he has spent many years speaking on spirituality, consciousness, matters of empathy and healthy living. Therefore, we have this issue where we wonder if his recovery and his new life should be counted when eventually judging his past behavior. There are multiple problems with this question, one being that, we do not really know if he no longer shows this behavior, today, in the varying environments he is in and in his current life. It is my opinion that we should always separate opinions, and work or art, from a person's personal life. If we are to categorize his public speaking and stand-up as his work and opinions, then for all anybody knows he may or may not be an entirely different person from the person expressed in his work. Mine's true. That does not discount the value of what is expressed in his work, in my opinion. The second issue with the question is that, most people with drug and sex addiction do not have the same space and opportunity, as well as Brand has, to recover and gain any type of insight into their behavior, to be able to change their behavior. Therefore, if the courts choose to base their decisions on a current perceived state of recovery, it very easily could lead to other perpetrators of sexual assault, that have been led or assisted to do so by their addictions, to worry less about the consequences of their own behavior. Thirdly, if you watched the documentary about the accounts of sexual violence, you saw that the women expressed that Brand was exhibiting signs of dissociation. This, as with general common sense, would lead me to question what real evidence we have that he ever discontinued the behavior, as we cannot base our judgment of his person on his work. He has not lived in a bubble since he has had his expressed recovery. He has still been in Hollywood and around Hollywood humans. He has been around all kinds of spiritual humans, but we also know that among the spiritual environments there is plenty of corruption, as well as any environment has the potential to be corrupt. Also, we have not yet solved the problem of rape culture, as a society. Though the rape culture of the 90s, and the millennium start, was clearly prevalent and clearly extreme, that does not warrant that he could not be still doing this all while propagating something entirely different in his work or art. There are more females coming forward as victims and the police have opened an investigation. Can we trust the justice system in this case or in any case that deals with sexual assault, rape or abuse? Until this point in time my answer would be, no. Unless someone has gotten a rape kit in the hospital directly after the fact, it tends to be one person's word against the other, which results in the victim reliving their trauma only to have their trauma discounted by society via the law. And although there has been progress in the way that systems and police deal with these allegations, to this day they are still lacking in their methods and responses. The only answer then is to change the way we act and think far before any of these terrible things may happen. Human mentality needs to change. Our entire culture needs to change. Humans need to speak up when they see others being treated badly. Victims of sexual assault, rape and abuse need to be taken seriously and deserve support and help. We should be able to talk about these things openly, without having to feel scared that we will be put on trial for what we were wearing or having the audacity to fall in love with the wrong person. Humans need to be educated on consent and understand that a relationship is not equal to consent, and learn how to communicate and listen. We need to become more brave and be taught that standing up is the right thing to do when you see someone being treated badly or being hurt. We need more empathy and compassion. We need to create a world where sexual assault and rape stories are not so normal that details get nitpicked to decide whether or not something is really bad or just pushing a line, whether or not he turns out to be guilty by law. I have seen now over these past years that the law does not do great for justice, so I will still not know if he is guilty of these things. I was a huge fan of his and I am devastated. The details of stories told by the females with allegations were so triggering that I cannot physically watch his videos anymore. I imagine that there are more of his female fans and viewers that are having a similar experience. I still would agree with so much of what he said up until this point and would entirely separate the validity of his work from his person. Once again we have a celebrity shit show that reflects the shit show that is humanity and society as a whole. Press the thumbs up, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more social and political commentary. Thanks for listening.